Hi everybody, welcome back to another update for Dropfleet Commander. It is time for Wave 3. Dave, what are we getting in this wave?
So Wave 3 has two things in it. It has the Launch Asset Pack and the Space Station Pack.
Okay. Well, what do you want to look at first?
Let's look at the Launch Assets first.
Alright, well, I've got some images. So I believe this is the back of the box to show you what you're going to get in the Launch Asset Pack.
It is, yeah.
So what are we seeing here?
So these are fighters, bombers, and torpedoes. They replace the tokens in the two-player starter set.
Yeah.
They fulfill the same role. Bombers hurt ships. Fighters protect your ships from enemy bombers and from enemy close action weapons as well.
And I'm guessing missiles just go boom.
Yeah, well, and torpedoes, there's nothing to protect you from torpedoes apart from maneuver because they're just so huge that nothing can kill them before they hit. You only get two in the box, but very rarely you're going to be firing more than two per game, really. This is kind of a average tournament size set-ish.
Okay.
You know, if you take a lot of carriers, then you might need more. If you take less, then you probably have too many, but it's about that.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've got some of them sitting here. Now, you can't see them there on screen, but I want to give you a sense of the scale of these things. So, if I bring in my ship here, this is your standard fleet carrier, yeah?
Yeah, that's a Seattle fleet carrier for the UCM.
Yeah, and these little guys here are...
Fighters.
Fighters. They're tiny.
Yeah, they are tiny, and although I'm a massive believer in true scale, they're the only thing that's slightly out in that they're about 2-to-1. Because if they were 1-to-1, they'd just be so tiny that you couldn't even see them. Yes. I mean, they're actually the most detailed plastic models we've ever made because there is a lot of detail on them for their size. They were extremely hard to make, tooling-wise.
Yeah.
It's also worth mentioning that they're generic in that they're not race-specific. They're so small that paint them in your fleet's colours and you'll be away, pretty much. And there's the torpedo. The torpedo is actually 1-to-1, not 2-to-1. So next to a ship, that's how big a torpedo actually is.
That's
huge.
Ridiculous.
It does a massive amount of damage. It's going to spend a few turns on the table, possibly. If it misses, it doesn't just disappear. It comes around for another pass. All right, that's nice. Torpedoes are mean and nasty things, but they're awesome.
Yeah, well, it's nice that it's not just a fire and forget. You can sort of bring it back on target if something goes wrong.
Yeah, because it's an event firing a torpedo. It's like, whoa. So you don't want to just, roll a one and have it disappear because that's kind of an anticlimax and nobody likes that. It's gonna mean business. It might take a few turns before it lands, but when it does, it's gonna sting.
Yeah, be ready.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a couple more images of them here. So for a better sense of the scale than on the camera, we have some images here. So you really can see just how big the ships feel compared to them. Even though they're overscaled, I still think it works quite well.
Yeah, it was a compromise based on, well, there's almost no point in having a dot on the top of a flight stand. It doesn't really achieve anything. You can see that they're fighters and bombers. Obviously you get 5 fighters per base and 3 bombers, so the bombers stick out over fighters.
You'll quickly recognize
you'll quickly pick them out. Yeah.
All right, well, the kit that I have been waiting to get. Oh, actually, you have the sprues.
Sprues, of course, because these are plastic injection molded as well.
Yeah.
Which is why they're generic. One of the many reasons why they're generic.
Yeah. So I assume we don't have the final box just yet.
No, but this is one of the many luxuries that Kickstarter afforded us, is to actually have for this kit to even exist.
Yeah. Your sprue is just chock full of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. So moving across, we have torpedo, we have fighters, all the tiny little fighters, and I think the other side is all bombers.
Yeah, they're integrated onto their base, so they're a one-piece thing. They clip off very easily. Tough plastic.
Yeah, you're not going to be fiddling about with these.
Yeah,
I like it. Now, is it 2 bases of these you're going to get?
It's 2 sprues. Yeah.
All right, 2 sprues.
And that builds everything we just saw on the screen.
No, actually, I want to double check that because I'm seeing yes, there's 1 torpedo on each sprue.
Yeah.
So 2 sprues in the box. Got it.
Yep.
Well, they're a great little thing, and they're a nice little detail they have on the tabletop. It just lifts off the table.
Obviously you can just use tokens, but they're fun. They look cool. A lot of the time, bombers will linger for a turn or two, so those tokens don't just disappear immediately. You know,
Yeah.
so they look cool and they lift the game visually. You know, it's a choice. You don't have to use them, but you know, they're cool. We like them.
I'll use them. I'll use them.
Yeah.
Am I leaving a set?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so on to the big bit for this wave, which is your Space Station Pack. Now, again, this is not the final box. There will be a final box made, but it's a weighty box. It's heavy.
It is a weighty box.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Because if
I'm
right, this is the front of the box, and you can make everything on there from the one pack. Yeah.
Yeah. All of those space stations could be built from this one box set. Each space station, scale-wise, is about the same size as a cruiser. Give you an idea of the kind of volumes you get with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's cycle through a couple images here because they do just look nice. So this looks like a solar generation power relay or defense platform at some point.
Yeah, that gives you, you know, the level of flexibility you get with this kit is epic. It's,
build your dreams, my friend. Build your dreams. They do just look really nice, and they fit the world. They feel like that old Earth tech that we always talk about from the Drop Zone Commander universe.
Yeah, because a lot of them are 200 odd years old by the time the background kicks in. They were built by humanity before they were conquered by the Scourge, and the Scourge have often repurposed them. There'll actually be a Scourge add-on pack for this coming out later on. That you can add Scourgified parts to them.
Nice.
It was on the Kickstarter, but it's going to be in retail at some point later.
Yeah.
No date announced yet, but it's on the cards.
Well, I've been resisting opening this box all week, so... Oh my... Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there is a lot of plastic in this box.
Yeah, that's a lot of plastic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pop this open.
This sprue, I am hugely proud of this sprue. It's the biggest. Oh, we'll go have a look at the little ones first.
Well, you're getting 2 sets of Mark III bases in here. So, if you've seen anything for Dropfleet Commander so far, you will know what these look like. I will give you a quick gander at them, just for handiness. So you've got big bases, small bases, depending on what type of station you're building, I'm guessing. And in the actual rules, does the type of station you build matter, or is it just a generic rule for space stations?
It does and it doesn't, because there's no like definitive, this size space station has this many damage points. The scenario will tell you like 2 medium space stations, and the rules tell you what a medium space station has in terms of damage and weapons. Some of them are armed, some of them aren't. The rulebook has just 3 basic weapon profiles, and it says, you know, laser armament, turret armament, and then you get both. Whether they're actually represented on the model or not doesn't matter, because they change between scenarios. You don't really want to be, you know, changing the space station every single time. It's a pain to have to do that. So we know that players are going to build what they like, and you just, as long as it's about the right size and you've got enough damage points available on the base, then that'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I will say one thing. Your instructions are a little different this time. So instead of actually telling people how to build it, you're telling them what parts actually connect well with what parts.
Yeah, so they're all
all
the parts on the sprue, which when we'll see the sprue in a minute, you'll see how this works. They've all got a letter and a number, so they're like H1 or G2, whatever. The actual number of the part is irrelevant, really. It's just there for reference.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're you cut out when you build this, the best way to do it is to cut out all the A parts, put them in a pile, all the B parts, put them in a pile.
Yeah.
And then this tells you what they all do. So if you turn that back over the other way, that's all right. So all the A parts there, they connect to form a sort of core section. You can join those together a bit like track for a model railway almost. So you could keep going and build like one big long one, or you could build a round one to build a dish. So that's your A parts. Then the B parts are hubs.
Yeah, okay. Your B parts.
So hubs are essentially mini versions of that track, but they're kind of one piece. So they link to tracks later on. You'll see how that works. They've all got a big hole in the middle, all of the B parts. Then the C parts down there are joiners. They join hubs and the A parts together.
Gotcha.
They've got 2 big lumps, and you can put 2 of them in one. So you can go through and out the other side effectively.
Okay.
Then the D parts down there, those are detail plugs. They go in the same holes that those joiners go in, but they sort of cap the end. So they're kind of character pieces, like dishes. Some of the larger turrets are some of those. The little domes, you know, those various feature pieces.
Yeah.
Then E parts are gantries. Underneath the A and B parts, there's a little there's a little kind of V-shaped aperture, that you put that in, but you don't have to go out at 90 degrees because it's got an aperture. You can rock it up to 45 degrees, so you can go round in a circle. You don't have to always be at right angles all the time. There is actually a little detent in that hole, so if you want to line it up at 90 degrees, it will sort of lock in. You'll kind of feel that it's right, so you don't have to judge 90. You're going to go, oh, there's 90. But if you want to go off, you can do that quite easily.
Other parts here we have.
Then you've got
special joiners.
F parts. Yeah, they join gantries together. So if you can, except for F3, which is one special part, it's very small.
Yeah.
But what that does is it cants the entire build direction at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So you put that in a gantry, and then you can start going sideways.
Yeah. Cool.
Which is a cool part. It's only you only get one per sprue, and you won't be using it that often. But if you want to create something interesting that looks different, especially side on, then G parts, like that there. Actually, there's an example. These specific ones, like the instructions, will give you an example of how it works. G parts, gantry details. They go on that gantry mount on A's and B's that I mentioned, but they cap the end off. So that's like solar arrays and cooling vanes, things like that. There's an example. H parts are little tiny details. There's loads of little hard points for tiny details all over a lot of the parts, and they just drop on wherever you feel like it. There's an example. And then that's the two different bases, how you build them.
Oh, it's an incredible modular system. I can imagine people buying multiple sets of this and building monstrous creations.
Oh yeah, you can just plug multiple sets together. You know, you can just go wild with it.
And are all 4 sprues are identical in the box? Yes.
Yeah, all 4 sprues are the same. This is the biggest sprue that we've ever made before. It's a beast.
Well, it's chock full of detail. So let's throw the main sprue. So there's how full the thing is. Let's actually start jumping through some of the details. So these are your track parts that you run about.
There's some of the A parts. Yeah, so you see that big hole for the joiners, the C parts to go into, and the same on the underside. They're hyper detailed everywhere. It's also worth mentioning that the track parts, the edges of those, so that area or that area there, that has detail on this interior face. So if you don't cap it off, it's not just like a undetailed slab.
It doesn't look unfinished.
Yeah.
Cool. You've got one of the little end stoppers here. You've got lots of your little detail. You've got the gantries.
Gantry joiner there. Yeah, there's B hubs there. More hubs there. Those are some of the joiners, the gantry joiners.
Yeah.
I mean, also, obviously as well, it's worth mentioning that this is how we recommend you put it together. But this is kind of a converter's. You do what you want with it. You don't have to build it that way.
This is your Lego kit. This is just sit down and see what you come up with.
Yeah. You could glom parts on wherever you like. I mean, it can go off at any kind of angle. It's just, it's providing you a big set of tools to make whatever the hell you like. With space stations.
Dave, tell you what. We have these, right? And we have a few of these sitting. So I'm going to tell you something. You, me, Warren, and possibly even John, I want us all to sit down. Each of us gets a set of these, and I want to see what we can create with them.
Yeah.
How does that sound to you?
That sounds great, because I haven't actually assembled a plastic version of this before.
Have you
so
not?
I'm going to have fun. No, because all the demo ones are all 3D prints.
Ah, see.
And I assembled that, and that was no fun because they're all incredibly brittle. And very expensive, so you're kind of, oh God. But with the plastic, because it's injection molded, hard plastic glue, much easier to build. I've messed about with a few parts, but I've never actually sat down and built a whole set. So that'll be fun. I'll enjoy that.
Nice. Very nice. You know what? I'm actually looking at this and I'm thinking I might build an S-bend.
Yeah, you can do that.
Actually have the thing
you
go
sort of
forward
go
and back.
Round like that. Yeah, you can do that.
I want to experiment.
I might build something big.
Why do you make toys that I want to play with all the time? Well, I mean, is there anything else coming in this particular wave?
No, this is just these two things. I mean, the Space Station Pack is a big one. This, in terms of gameplay as well, about half the scenarios in the game use space stations in one way or another.
So you're going to want to get a set of these.
Yeah. And this is enough for probably 2 tables worth, actually.
Really? Wow.
Unless you're going to play a really big game. If you're going to play 2,500 points or so and have 5 or 6 of them, then one set is probably about right. But for tournament size, this is more than you need. Okay. Which is cool, because then you can build some different ones for big and small ones, because some of the scenarios want small ones, some of them want bigger ones.
Well, you see, I can imagine tournaments where players are actually going to bring their own space stations to show up or show off their monstrous creations.
Their monstrous creations. I think we're going to have a section on the forum for Space Station Builder.
Right.
So if anyone's built anything cool, they can send those in and post them, and we can see what people are building. Because I've given a lot of thought into making this set flexible, but when it's out in the wild, we'll see what people do with it.
Yeah, we'll see how far they go.
It's going to be interesting. It's nice to see people being creative, and we'll see what they come up with.
All right, well, if that's everything for Wave 3, guys, I think we'll call it that, but stay tuned because there is still another wave to come for Dropfleet Commander. Myself and Dave will move on. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.